Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
I knew you when I had a friend, very deeply loved lit within, but somehow we got loose, but from was oh so tight. Somewhere we were wrong when we were all so right.
What's a man to do when he just can't take no more? What's a man to do? What's a man to heart when it heart leads me to the door? Now I've tried and tried again, but now this is the end. Tell me what's the use of holding on if we can be friends? Oh ha, oh ha, ha. Oh ha ha, oh ha, oh ha ha, oh ha ha, oh ha ha, oh ha ha, oh ha, oh ha, oh ha. Take it away, XD.
Woha, 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 ha, ha, woha, 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 ha, woha, 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 woha.
I can't stop crying in Woha.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Blackest Show About Nothing. It's Jade and XD. Yeah, countdown to, the season finale of America.
Countdown to hell.
Yeah.
No PO is being released at this time. Sorry, ma'am. The whole world is on fire.
The whole world is on fire. Without further ado, it's time for Jade's updates.
Hoi, hoi, hoi. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, buckle up. We're on day 389 of the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Israel banned the UNRWA from operating in the West Bank. Now, the UNRWA is the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, so the name speaks for itself. They have banned them from operating in the West Bank, which is including East Jerusalem and Gaza, within 3 months, which is depriving 3 million Palestinians of life-saving aid. And UN top officials are warning that the entire population of North Gaza is at risk of dying. The entire population. When do we generally hear a risk of an entire population? There's been an ongoing, extremely brutal 25-day siege in North Gaza, killing over 1,000 people, with constant air and land shelling in Bet Lahia and Bet Hanun. Tanks pushing and trapping over 100,000 people. Strikes on mosques and several school shelters. Kamal Adwan Hospital in Bet Lahia remains besieged and encircled by tanks. There's only 2 doctors left after the IOF did a mass abduction and a 2-day raid. 2 doctors in an entire hospital. Put that into perspective. There's also been heavy shelling on central Gaza and as Zawaida and Barej Maghazi and Nusrat, which has killed 16 people, including 5 children. This is the biggest war on children ever. The biggest war on children. And we got people over here talking about Palestinian. Rudy Giuliani, his demonic fucking face, said that 2-year-olds are taught as young as 2-year-old Palestinians, exactly, demonic, are told how to kill Americans. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Have you seen how many kids? This is like hundreds of thousands of children at this point who have been killed. And you all come out of they just come out of their faces and say shit. Over 40 medical centers in South Lebanon have been forced to close. That sounds crazy. They've been bombing residential buildings, the IOF. They've pounded 12 areas across Baalbek, which is in the east of Lebanon, killing over 60 people, including children. And just this morning, at the time of this recording, which is a couple of days prior to you all listening to this, there was a massacre in Bet Lahia. Israel massacred over 109 Palestinians, including women and kids. They flattened a 5-story residential building housing 200 displaced Palestinians in Bet Lahia as they slept. Over 40 are missing or trapped under the rubble with no civil defense to rescue, because remember, all rescue attempts are being thwarted by either shelling or what have you. Many fled from Jabalia as a 25-day siege of North Gaza marked by persistent carpet bombing of Jabalia. Bet Lahia and Bet Hanun is being exterminated with 100,000 trapped residents. Many are pulled out from the rubble, killed and crushed by heavy concrete as the strike came without warning. Dozens of injured arrived at the besieged Kamal Auden Hospital, which is what I just talked about, that only has 2 doctors remaining, but couldn't be treated as the IOF raid forced it out of service. It's barely functional. It's being overwhelmed by blockade since October 1st, and all medical supplies, water, food, and fuel has been depleted. Israel is clearly implementing the quote-unquote general's plan. With this is a plan that they put out themselves. You can go look it up yourself. Designed to eliminate North Gaza's population through starvation and forced expulsion policies. Israeli tanks and troops around over 100,000 residents cut off all aid while mercilessly bombing homes and shelters, aiming to break the resilience of the Palestinians through deadly deprivation. The fact that this is still... What do we even say to this at this point? Like, what do we even say to this? It doesn't get better. We're on day 564 of the ongoing genocide in Sudan. The RSF did a rampage in Jazeera State, including attacks on Al-Qura, where residents have been prevented from leaving town. There's been mass displacement continuing out of Jazeera as well prior to that. Residents fleeing to neighboring states. The RSF is now bombing via drones, and shops and homes in North Kordofan are being looted and burned. The RSF's onslaught on villages in Jazeera State continues with harrowing reports of children being abducted and murdered. And the UN report indicates that more than 45,000 people have been displaced by the RSF attacks in Jazeera State in the past week alone. 45,000 in a week. 550 children in Khartoum alone are suffering from severe malnutrition, and 3 of them have already passed away. And extreme trigger warning, there's also a disgusting amount of sexual assault happening. And over 130 women killed themselves in order to avoid being sexually assaulted or avoid being raped. That is absolutely insane. That is absolutely insane. We think of ways where we're like, how the fuck am I supposed to, what do I do with this? The most that I can tell you right now, because I'm just as much of at a loss, I am carrying out my personal duty where I feel like, again, these people have asked us on a consistent basis, don't let people forget us. Please don't let people forget us. So I'm going to make sure that I do my part in them not being forgotten, because this should never be happening. in Sudan. You can still donate. Remember, there's a page on Instagram by the name of saving.aljanina in the description box where they have continuous efforts of trying to get as many people fed as possible. The other day, I believe they did 50 bus loads. So if you're looking for ways to assist, please check out that link in the description box. That's how you can. As far as the Middle East, as far as Palestine is concerned, and Lebanon and Yemen and so forth, we have to pray hard. I don't even know what else to do at this point. But given the timing of this episode, we know that there is an election coming up next week, and more than anyone, I understand the the dissonance, right, between civic duty, between honoring ancestral efforts, between what the fuck is in front of us right now that shouldn't even be a possibility. And also, I can't, people who are like, I can't vote for genocide. I won't vote for genocide. This is not the time for us to be fighting one another about those personal decisions. And if I may read something, I read this. Oh, no, this is coming out first. So you will hear it again on Getting Grown, which comes out on Election Day. But I thought it important because when I read it, it resonated. There is an activist by the name of YK Hong, YK Reborn on Instagram, and they write, "Remember that what comes after voting is more important than just the voting itself. No matter how you vote, keeping in mind local and ballot measures at stake, or if you vote, our work is continuing to build power and community. We need to get to a place where people understand that voting is a small part of a long-term strategy. Many are mistaking voting as just the strategy itself. This is deleterious thinking. An election is not an end. It's not even the most important part. So then all of us wanting an end to the genocides, fighting with one another about our votes, what a perfect trap created for us. When we get to a place where everyone is thinking beyond elections for systemic change is when we disrupt the systems. Getting to where we understand the strategy beyond for liberation for all, that is where we want to be. I will vote, and I will use my iPhone to make this post on this oppressive social platform too. And also, I'm continuing to organize to take down empire every single day so that people don't have to ever be put in this position again. This colonial system we are in convinced people that being political, quote unquote, only pertains to how you vote, when in fact, everything is political all the time. The phone you use, the food you eat, the air you breathe, all of it is political. Liberation means being aware of our politicized world all the time, our politicized selves all the time. Each of us is politics itself. You are politics itself. One thing about being in the imperial core, United States, in the West, is that we get to shred and destabilize it from the inside while the global South shines so bright so that we don't get lost on our way out. That's powerful, and you are powerful, and we are more powerful together. We are the waves. So I'm not telling you, I'm never going to be the one to tell you what to do or how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I understand. I get it on all sides. Do what you have to do. But also, remember that past this election, it doesn't stop there, and we have to keep doing what we're supposed to do. Like, it's not the end of it all. It's not the end all be all. And if we don't continue our work after these elections, then what are we screaming for? You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Be critical of your politicians, hold them accountable, honor what you feel you need to do for yourself and your ancestors and whatever the case is, but don't waste your energy fighting with each other. Don't do that. That's not even necessary right now because there's too much else going on.
Vote, baby, vote. Vote, baby, vote. Vote, baby, vote. Are you registered, baby?
Um, I will say
Mm-hmm.
that if you need help with voting or your ballot, there are a couple of tools out there to help you. I will say that voting is actually work because of the fact that
Very much so.
you should be knowledgeable about all these like measures and things and stuff, and it could be a really difficult to
Overwhelming.
just overwhelming to get all that
Mm-hmm.
through your head. So, because it was for me. So what I did, I went to Vote Save America. If you're unfamiliar, they're a podcast hosted by John Levitt, John Favreau, and the other one. And what they do is they curtail your ballot by your address because that is that's the way ballots are done. And so they go through each thing and they give you unbiased information about each candidate, each measure, so you can make an informed decision. I do know that the presidential election is super charged and super polarizing. But what I thought about recently is, remember how when we first started all this and I discovered that medical examiners are an elected space, I thought about more recently Environmental Protection Agency and the FDA and the USDA. Like, it is very difficult and increasingly difficult to eat. There's E. coli, hepatitis A through J, or whatever the fuck that's in our foods nowadays. And the reason why it's like that is because of lack of policies due to the previous administration. And also this current administration not necessarily realizing how much was undone and haven't had the time to fix everything because we have a Republican Congress. So, I think about when people come to me like, I can't vote for genocide. Yeah, okay. I get that. But I also think about the water that we drink and the food that we eat. Or like the formula that our babies need that where sometimes people who are birthing can't produce their own milk, right?
Our trans brothers and sisters who, they're not talking about care at all or even acknowledging them as human beings, which, listen, I think that this is people's personal fucking decision, right? Because you got to live with yourself ultimately. You know what matters to you. You might be a person that says, I cannot vote for genocide. You may be a person that says, I cannot vote against what's best for my direct community. That is varying from human to human being. And that's just the honest fucking truth. So people have to do what is going to make them sleep at night. But I say when you do it informed.
Yes, do it informed. Which also brings me to Jeff Bezos.
Oh, God.
I also want to make it clear that Jeff Bezos no longer owns Amazon. He's no longer the CEO. It is another white man who has taken over Amazon. Yeah, he left Amazon a while ago, around the time where him and his wife split up. However, Jeff Bezos does own the Washington Post. And over the last couple of weeks, both the LA Times and the Washington Post have both come out and said that they are not endorsing a candidate for the first time in 80 whatever the fuck years for both media companies, right? And Bezos' argument was that like us endorsing anybody isn't going to do anything or disrupt the status quo. And I disagree. I disagree. I don't know why people discount the oldest forms of media and to think that they are less important than they truly are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people talk about journalism is dead and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, no, it's just
shifted.
I feel like people are lazy in how they consume their information, or that particular company isn't doing its job to boost their journalistic talent, and they've also become super politicized, and
that's also, you have to consider the fact that a lot of journalistic outlets have made
there are the liberals
stances whether overtly or covertly, enough for people niggas to be like,
Yes.
but I do agree with you that people are also very lazy and don't do their due diligence in going to fact check and cross reference and so forth and so on.
Yeah, which is why I think that may not endorsing a candidate. I don't want to say I agree with Jeff Bezos, but I do think that having media outlets that provide factual information about each candidate on a federal level, you know what I mean? I think that's important. I think even if we didn't know anything about President 45, right? I feel like we should know things about him. You know, if he's supposed to be a viable candidate, which we all know he's not. But you know what I mean?
My
God. I feel like there are things that I feel like that's an easy scapegoat or an easy way out to just be like, I don't want to disrupt anything. And of course, he lost like 250,000 subscribers in a day. That's fucking crazy. But the point of all this is that, you know, be informed. Do think about your personal interests and what that means if you have children, if you have, what the future means for them, if you have queer family members or friends, or hell, even people with reproductive organs. You know what I mean? I think that, think about them in this election. I know even in the state of California, housing is big on the docket. There's like 4 measures on the California docket in regards to housing. Some good, some not. So I think in a state that is with it's like 40 million people that live here and a good portion of it is houseless, I think that's something that can be looked into.
And the fucking boom in that. Again, we're gonna keep saying it until it's backwards. Flint still don't have clean water.
Doesn't have clean water. Yeah.
Like, I just, as a mother in general, as a Black mother, as a mother of a child with vagina parts, as a Black mother with a slew of queer and trans friends, I feel so crazy right now. Because as a mother, watching hundreds of thousands of kids die is also so fucking crazy. And this is hard. But this has made me have to do more research than anything I have ever done in my life. And it doesn't make it easier. You know what I'm saying? So
it makes you angrier even because the more you learn, it's what that James Baldwin quote, like the more quote unquote woke you are, I'm paraphrasing, but the more woke you are, the more angry you become.
The more angry, and the more miserable because the realities of the world are in your face. And it's a mind fuck, right? Because here they are on this stolen land with this with this system that is fucking cracked as fuck. That shouldn't be in the first place. That we live under and in. It is very much a giant mind emotion fuck. Peace and strength be to everybody during this time because I get it, man. I understand.
Yeah. Let's pay some bills. So thank you for listening each and every week. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Also, thank you all for coming out for our live this week. We had a spooky live. So it was a wang dang MFing doodle.
Yes.
So with that, join our Patreon. We have a great time. I don't know, over 1,000, almost 2,000 pieces of content for you to enjoy.
Yeah.
And growing. We don't stop.
And growing.
Yes. We dropped like 10 hours of content last week.
God damn.
On Patreon alone. So even though we were on a reprise last week here on the main stage, doesn't mean that we take off over on Patreon.
No.
So we have a good time there. It's $9.99 to sign up or $12.99 for full lives once a month. It's a good time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where we do 90-day recaps. Also, on our Patreon, we are watching and covering Before the 90 Days. I know people are still asking us if we're going to do it. I'm like, if you subscribe to our Patreon, you would have the tea. We have a Wang Dang Doodle. Last week, the last 30 seconds of it, we was gold. So if nothing else, tune into our Before the 90 Day
Don't you be fussing either about why do we have to go to Patreon? Because, nigga, we got to pay bills. If y'all are willing to buy whiskey and Levi's and concerts where you can only wear a specific shade of silver, if y'all are willing to do all of that to get this $12, because we're busting our titties to make sure that we give you your money's worth without being disgustingly capitalistic.
Yeah, support black business.
Yeah, support local small black business.
Yeah. We didn't take out a PPP loan, so
No, we didn't, and thank God, because we would be love after lockup.
Big league.
Like, where are your employees, Jade and XD? They live in my mind.
Could you imagine? At least 3 kids. But subscribe to us on YouTube. It's a good time. Join our Discord. That's where the agents of chaos live and thrive.
And they are chaotic. Y'all are chaotic.
They had a link up.
Oh, what?
They had a couple of agents met up. Hold on, I meant to read the story.
Wait, come on with it. Let me hear.
Yeah, hold on.
I love that. Y'all got each other's cars towed before. You know what I'm saying? You found people's lost dogs. Go ahead, let me hear.
Yeah, they went to the Juju Book Talk.
Yes, they went to go see my girl.
Yeah, and then they were having a conversation. They had not planned to meet, and while they were talking in person, they were gonna reference the Antebellum Terms episode. So I asked first if they knew who Jade and XD was. They said yes, and immediately, and we went on a rant about Nigga Peace Theater and the show in general after that. And then it got a whole bunch of requests of us to bring back Nigga Peace Theater.
Oh, more work.
But I do miss Nigga Peace Theater.
I do.
It was a time.
And, didn't I rattle off a story to you at the top of us talking today? A scenario of sorts.
You did.
I just feel like,
Yeah, that could be a thing.
Creative juices.
Yeah, because I actually found the book, the Trevor and Bianca Davis story on my desktop when I looked at my other computer. And we could read that on
NPT. Hold on.
It's still available for sale on Amazon if you want to get our book. You forgot we are authoresses.
Yeah, I did, and I'm honestly very scared of what that book.
Oh, I know, and I read the reviews a year or two ago, and this outlaw mud show, and I'm like, I agree. We didn't have an editor or anything.
Did you all think that was real? The book was $1. It's like when you go to the fucking bargain bin to get a DVD. If it's terrible, you paid $1 for it.
Yeah.
And you know why it was in the dollar bin at the fucking store. Oh my God, that actually tickles me. I want to go in and leave bad reviews for it if I'm being honest.
Hi, this is the author. This shit was awful. But
we should. I had an idea as we were talking about my next Nigga Peace Theater story, and I have a horror story already completely written, ready to go. I just have to, get the details together. Yep.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. But join our Discord, join everything. Check the description box. Did you leave a bad comment just now?
No. I was writing my Nigga Peace Theater idea.
Okay. But yes, stay tuned for more Jade and XD. Hit it, Claude.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The sensor showed the tablet is much more stimulating than other activities.
This curve up here is what you see when she was actually playing a game that she enjoyed on an iPad.
And the children's mood changed. Ella, for example, went from exhausted to happy.
The first 2 times I was just kind of tired.
And we're back. We were gone last week.
So catching up.
We're catching up and things. So how was your last few?
Last week was extremely busy. I don't usually have like a lot of things that I have to do outside, like in the city back to back. And this was like multiple days back to back. So I have some people to shout out. So first of all, I did a campaign with an organization by the name of Alima. And Alima is a nonprofit that works, it's local also, that works across sub-Saharan Africa, 12 countries, I believe, and then also Haiti. And they essentially focus on maternal mortality because the countries in sub-Saharan Africa have the highest maternal mortality rates in all of the world. So they connect with doctors and caregivers and so forth to make sure that these mothers are getting the care that they need in these countries. And so I did a campaign with them, just bringing some awareness online. So if you all are on social media, go run it up, and give them a view. You know what I'm saying? Like, please take a look and see if you're asking yourself every week different ways that we can try to make, small changes as drops in the bucket across the way. Alima is a wonderful organization that provides you with different ways to do that. So I did that and filmed that, and that was that. Shout out to Mary. She helped me out. And Naja. Naja edited the video together for me, so I appreciate that. I also went to a panel at NYU, which was fantastic. Let me make sure, hold on, because I want to pull up the names to make sure that, okay, here we go. All right. So I went to a panel presented by Dr. Alaris Trancoso. So my boo Alaris, which is Santana's god sister, who lives in Puerto Rico. She just got her doctorate. Congratulations, boo. And her dissertation was fantastic. And she talked about like what prompted it. And then she spoke with others. So the dissertation, it was Queering Orisha's Embodied Knowledges in Living Archives. So she essentially told the story about how she was in the religion, practicing the religion. She's a Santeria, and facing some homophobia and queerphobia within the religion, and it being put on spiritual deities. And that is not necessarily the case. That's man-made. That hate is man-made. You know what I'm saying? And so she wanted to get deeper into it, and she had a panel. So she did a panel with two trans practitioners who are in the religion. And they gave their experiences and told their stories of practicing within the religion, coming out. She talked about her story of coming out. And then a young filmmaker who did a film, and all of them are Puerto Rico based. And then a young filmmaker by the name of Ana, who is just a sweetheart. And she actually did a film about a young trans woman's experience coming into her transness, but also coming into her spirituality as a child of Yemaya. So it was a beautiful short film. It was an amazing panel. I was like, these are the types of conversations that absolutely need to be had, because people deserve to be enveloped in their spirituality however they see that fit, without the outside forces or human forces of hate and phobia in those practices. So I thought this was such important work, and it was such an incredible panel.
Yeah. I think I told you this, I mentioned this before, but I was right before we started recording today, I was working on, my bestie, Dr. Terrell. Dr. Winder is a professor at University of Santa Barbara. And so they're doing this project called the Africana Religions Project. And so I was building the website earlier, and it's about queer people who are practicing, African religions and spirituality. So there's a lot of like Ifa and hoodoo and stuff, and then the site will come out in like a couple weeks. But their profile, there's like 55 profiles, and it talks about their journeys into the spirit world, or how they practice and how it brings them, peace and joy in their everyday living, or how they use it to navigate the world. It's very interesting.
I love that.
They have a podcast coming out in tandem with it, I feel like, in the new year. So it's going to be really, really cool.
I love that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What else did we do? Oh, Kid Fury had his stand-up show at Gramercy Theater and did such an incredible job. I saw the first time he did the set, and it was amazing. And this time it was like really fully formed. And he's made to do this. So I'm really proud of him. I'm so, so proud of him. And of course, Crystal Jean brought her new child to Gramercy Theater, which is also where I happened to go last see Boss Man D-Lo. And the child was there, and it's puppy Bjorn on her titties, and overwhelmed by the full niggatry of it all. Shout out to my niece.
Yes, Crystal's the only person I'll allow to have her dog dressed as a human. I'll let it go.
Yes,
I'm choosing to find it charming.
What was it I read the other day that I said what I said, they translated it into corporate, and it was like, I maintain my stance on that.
Yes.
No, I have, you know me, like, you know us.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I've been myself all through this journey. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, this is niece. I let this dog lick me on my cheek. But also,
I don't do that.
I know. No, I did. And I was like, because she was so small, I was like, you're not grown enough to have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a baby.
It's like a baby slobbers on you, and you're like, okay, it's not grown slobber, it's just kind of gross.
Yeah, you let it rock.
I let it rock. I was like, she came, she was right here, and it was all of a sudden like, nip, 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 nip.
She ain't got too worldly yet.
She ain't got too worldly, sniffing butts.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, niece, I'm gonna let you rock. But she's like, you a hating asshole because she has set up a life for this child already.
Yeah.
And I can only just be over here be like, that dog has a playpen. That is crazy. But she's so fucking stinking cute that you can't even be mad at it. You know what I'm saying? You can't be mad. And also it's beautiful. It's always lovely when you see your loved ones like fall in love with someone. Like, it's just sweet to see. So I laugh, but it is very sweet.
Yeah. Well, good.
Yeah. What else happened last week? So I had to call the phone company today, because I'm adding Noah onto my shit. And so, and I needed to, I need to do a breakdown. I got to balance my checkbook, and sometimes that requires a phone call where you have to break things down and listen to a representative tell you certain things. I don't want to log onto your site. And I didn't even want to continue on with the phone call because, before we even got into my stuff, they said, thank you for being a loyal customer for the past 23 years.
Like I said, and me, I'm 56 years old.
Damn! I'm sorry. Because it was a thought. No, seriously. It was a thought. It was a thought, and I blurted it out.
And I had an existential crisis. I was like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that? She was like, thank you. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Right? Isn't that nuts?
That's like how my debit card says customer since 1997.
Isn't that like...
Yeah. That's fucking nuts, bro.
Thank you for being a loyal customer for the past 23 years.
I'm surprised that they continued on since when they merged with Sprint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered if I would have kept my Nextel or whatever, or if I would have kept Sprint and waited 2 years, I would have had the same issue. Because I first got Sprint in 2005, 2006.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got it in
23 years. That's
2001,
crazy. 2002.
Like, what?
Yeah.
That's crazy. 2002. Maybe it was 2002.
Ever since I got this, I feel
stronger, faster.
Yeah, I'm doing this, doing that, bang, bang, bang. You know, this thing has turned me into what's the word?
Want a more powerful phone? Switch to Sprint and get unlimited PCS vision, unlimited night and weekend minutes, and 300 anytime minutes. And now at Sprint stores, get great deals instantly on PCS.
That'd be 22 years, so I guess it was 2001.
That's crazy. I remember, what was the first phone that you had?
I had it was either it might have been a Sanyo basic silver flip phone with a green screen that like you had to charge by putting into a docket. So yes. I would have to slide my phone into this docket to charge it. And it had an antenna. I think that was my first phone.
My first was the Nokia 5500 or whatever. It was the black one.
The basic.
Yeah, it was the black one with the green screen. And then my next phone the next year was the Nokia 3390, what was the small one. And you could play Snake on it.
Yeah, Snake. The one that, and then niggas got the clear cover where they had the lights and shit. Yeah.
And then I eventually got the one where I could make polyphonic ringtones.
Yes, mine was Wankster. It would say do 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 do. Yes,
mine was "Work It Out" by Beyonce because I was a homosexual even back then.
That tracks. That tracks. That was my that was my first phone. And then my second phone, you know, I've been an auntie all my life.
Mm-hmm.
So my second phone was one of those half, it was like half, what is it called? Tortoiseshell? It was like that tortoiseshell phone. So it was just, you know, it looked like I wore business suits and should have been in Boomerang. My phone is what looked like that.
I love the corporate phone. Like when I had the BlackBerry, I had the BlackBerry global version. I didn't have that curved shit. It was black. It looked like a dick. It was so sexy.
Yeah. Yes, and they had a true rollerball on it. Like, yes. Before Blackberries became hot outside of business.
Exactly, with the curve. Womp womp. I remember when I had the Trio, I thought I was somebody with the whole fucking Palm Pilot Trio. Yes. What the fuck do I need a Trio for? Or when I had the Pocket PC. Remember Windows had the whole like computer phone?
Yes, my grandfather had that. And it had a stylus on it.
Mm-hmm. And it had the nerve to crash like a stupid computer anyway.
Yep, because my grandfather had one. And let me tell you, that man, once the Palm Pilot came out, you couldn't tell him nothing. He stayed. He might still stay with a Palm Pilot.
Yeah. We were watching the Weird History channel, and they've recently started Timeline. They've done like all the decades, 70s through whatever. And so they recently just started the 2000s. And so they were talking about, I think in 99, the 99 one, they talked about how everybody had a Palm Pilot or whatever, like organizational device. And it was just like, it's so crazy how all of that stuff has been truncated into like one device or like an app even.
I know, because I remember like when I tell you, adamantly, staunchly, like being against having music on my phone. I was like, I will not put my music. What kind of shit is that? I'm going to carry my iPod.
Yeah. Now I can't get rid of enough things. Like, I just need, something small. I don't need shit on
Child, it needs
me.
to fit in this fanny pack and nothing else. Because I don't even want nothing on my arms. Wait, I just thought about something. And I don't know if, follow me here.
Mm-hmm.
Columbine happened in 99.
Yeah, April 99.
Okay? Because literally just the other week, that's another thing I randomly discovered the other week, that it was the 22nd anniversary of them kidnapping John Malveaux, the DC sniper.
Oh shit! Yeah, that actually came up on the timeline thing that I watched too. Yes.
Okay, so
we might have to watch those
day.
together because they're really good. They're really good introspective.
We should, so we can talk about our experiences.
Yeah.
So that was 22 years ago. But anyway, back to this. 99, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was when Columbine happened.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to say before that, people didn't really have cell phones were mainly among like corporate people who had money, things like that. Notice we had pagers and shit, but notice how students, like more teenagers started getting cell phones post 2000, but Columbine happened in 99. I wonder if that was part of a catalyst for this uptick.
Absolutely it was. Absolutely it was. There was a increase in the need for communication and safety between students
direct and immediate communication
because of things like that. And I definitely feel like 9/11 exacerbated those things too.
Yeah, very much so, actually. Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. I definitely think there was a correlation between those two things.
Because that was really when we started seeing the boom of.
Because that's honestly, when I think about it, that was the reason my mother agreed. Because my mother was not about to give me a phone. I had a pager, and that was enough. And then I never forget, like the day my cousin got me a phone. She got me the phone. Because she was like, "Well, I'm 18, I have a credit, whatever." And then
just stupidity.
Yeah, but she eventually got it through. My mother was paying for it, and she transferred over her name. But her rationale was the fact that I'm only agreeing to this because of safety. Because before my mother was like, "That's another bill. Like, I don't. That's weird." But then when she started seeing niggas is crazy, and I feel like there was because right after Columbine, like usual, there's a lot of copycat incidents.
Yes, exactly. There were so many, actually.
Yeah, and because
I remember little decade.
I remember there was a time like I didn't go to. I think my mother kept me out of school for like a week around like because there was so many like copycat like ideas or like happening, and not necessarily in my school district, but they were too close to home for her to be like, all right.
For her comfort.
Yeah. And yeah, that's definitely, I haven't really thought about that in a long time. But yeah, that was a catalyst for her to agree to get me a cell phone. And I didn't I didn't even have to like, because I thought I was going to have to like campaign and be like, Ma, I need a phone, blah, blah, blah. Think, communicate, blah, blah. But it didn't take much convincing when she realized, you know what? This makes sense.
Them niggas wasn't buying me shit. Okay, I had to get it myself.
But now, when I eventually discovered boys and shit, then I bought my own Metro PCS phone with the money I got from working at the Y and tutoring. So I could talk to niggas that I met on Black Planet in 2003.
Ooh, a risky hoe.
Oh yeah, I've been doing it longer and smarter than most.
A risky hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that block of time. That 99 to 09. Like, I mean, really 99 until, but 99 to like, it was nuts because it was Columbine, it was 9/11, it was Virginia Tech, it was just like thing after thing after thing after thing.
Yeah, we really should watch that timeline thing. I think we could, place ourselves at where we were at this particular time.
The 2000s, we truly saw it all. We saw the future unfolding and the past crumbling. We saw something we will never forget. And something.
But yeah, that also, well, let me take a break because I have something else to tell you that has to do with the early aughts. But let's take a break and we'll be back. Hit it, Claude.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I love this movie. I really love it. When we first saw the first cut, sat down in our home and Kate saw it. She said, "Oh my God, it's the best thing you've ever done." She started crying. But he's a man looking for his own faith and finds it as well.
And we're black. So over the last couple weeks since we're gone, I went to my high school reunion.
Yes, you did.
Yes, they gave us like little tchotchkes and things, this little candle.
Come on with it. They gave gifts?
Yes, they gave
Who
gifts.
paid for that?
The Alumni Association. So
okay.
Yeah, we have an alumni association, and also people, some of our people in our class make bank, and so they just donate it.
Come on with it.
I have to say, before I begin, I did not expect that there would be the amount of Jade and XD listeners that there would have been.
I haven't had an orthodox career, and I've wanted more than anything to have your respect. The first time I didn't feel it, but this time I feel it, and I can't deny the fact that you like me. Right now, you like me.
Now, I was very, and the people that listened to, I was shocked. Now, my homegirl, I know you listened to.
Wait.
Yeah.
Didn't you go to an Asian high school?
Asian and Latino, yes, I did. And with, me and a couple of
the primos and the primas are in the house.
I grew up in San Jose. You hear a lot of niggas, but you don't see one. So
yeah. I saw that myself firsthand.
Yeah. So I'm like I go there. And first of all, it was beautiful. Everybody looked the same. Me and everybody were kind of looking at each other like, I'm so glad none of us looked too crazy. Like everybody looked good. Like
nice.
Everybody looked good.
My mama.
Yeah, I was like, yes. And people brought their spouses. And it was just lovely to see. Chris Rogers had to work, so he couldn't come. But the people be like, oh, I see. And I knew it. I knew I was in trouble when folks were like, are you Xavier now?
Oh,
I guess I outed myself just now, but I was like, yeah, I am. But whatever, right? So it was just daunting, right? Like, okay.
Stand in it.
Yeah. And so then I started getting questions like, oh, yeah, you do your show, blah, blah. And So for all of you who listen, who went to the same high school I do, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
I didn't realize, and active listeners, because people would like quote things for me from the show, or they're like, "Oh, Jade said this one day," and I'm like, "Oh, maybe she did. I don't know. I do drugs, so like I don't know." But like,
speaking of, I have a question. I think I discovered a new cult. True Fruit.
Oh, the chocolate-covered fruit people.
I really strongly believe there is some sort of like Stanley Cup business happening underneath it all. Because why is it everywhere all the time now? Nice try, Diddy. That's what I learned. That's what the kids are doing online. The kids are...
That's so bad.
Let me tell you something, because I have to stay in the know. So I have to stay in the know of what's going on. And so I just see all these kids all over the place. Nice try, Diddy. And so I was like, what does that mean? Apparently, if something is scamming or lie, or they think like it's Puffy trying to use something, whatever, they put nice try, Diddy. Hold on, let me tell you exactly.
Is it on the Urban Dictionary?
Let me see. Well, they're not always correct, but it probably is. See, Reddit. Who the hell is Diddy and why is everyone saying nice try? Wait. So they said, first of all, somebody explaining who Puffy is so funny to me right now. Nice try, Diddy is a joke implying that Diddy is behind whatever they're commenting on.
Nice try, Diddy.
That it's a scheme that Diddy set up to hit you with the bullshit. And so now the kids are all over. If they think it's a scammy product, no matter what it is, they'd be like, nice try, Diddy.
I'm stealing it.
Yeah, you have
Just
to.
like, you know what? That these young kids pissed me off because they used to hit us with the millennial cringe about what we did. But guess who's quoting a television show from 12 years ago? In the club, we all fam.
But in the club, we all fam. What? In the club, we all fam. In the club, we are all family. Are you racist? No. It's 2016. What? I didn't say anything. Let's just try to have fun. Oh
I saw, and I was like, wait, now hold on, because we've been tapped in with Alana since she first said that line.
Trap, lock the fuck in. You hear me?
In the club, we all fam.
And nobody ever wants to talk about what happened after that, because that was the episode. We saw Blake Griffin naked, and he's on all fours, and Alana's like riding him. Like, an amazing episode.
Oh my God. Are you racist?
Yeah. Are you racist?
I yes, now all of a sudden. You see, trendsetters.
Mm-hmm.
Trendsetters. Wait, so I think I discovered another possible scam from the government.
Okay.
This could maybe it's the strain I'm smoking today, I'm not sure.
Mm.
So remember those free CDs we would get with like so many internet hours?
Mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
I was having this conversation with Whitney with like so many hours on them.
Mm-hmm.
And we would use those. But there was always an endless supply of those discs with internet hours. Like they never ran out.
Mm-hmm.
That was the start of trying to hook people into the internet where they felt like they had to stay there because they had to use up those hours on those discs. And then what would happen? Another disc would come.
You know, like when we first got America Online, like we didn't pay for like forever because it was 2,000 hours here. Then you get another disc, 2,000 hours here. There's another disc. Like, and they used to give them for free at the beginning in front of it's not Target. What was it used to be called? Best.
Oh. God.
Yeah, so
in true fruit.
So yeah, I used to like they used to like at the end of the cash wrap at Best, you can get you a CD with all the things. I don't disagree with you. I do think there was a push to get people on the internet for propaganda's sake, right? Because do you remember there was a point where like the internet was free? Like there were so many sites where like, was it Net Zero or whatever the fuck? Like, and then when you did that, you got inundated with a whole bunch of ads for whatever outlaw ass company or whatever. But it also, those ads were quite propaganda-ish.
They and still are.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I never thought about that. But I go put my tinfoil hat on and reject the 5Gs.
Because
and
the CDs never ran out. They always showed back up, whether they were random in the mail. I feel like they planted them CDs like them niggas was planting those motherfucking firecrackers a couple years ago.
Can I tell you, I scammed so many CDs out of that Columbia House penny CD thing. And what I used to do, I used to watch. I'm probably gonna get arrested now. Statute of limitations is up.
Statute of limitations, exactly.
I used to use my neighbor's address. And I would like know when it would get delivered. I have an assumption of when it would get delivered. I'd walk down and whoop de doop de doo.
Website, but it's just all a scandal. Cause soon as you click the link, I get your information. He ordered a t-shirt 3 years ago and he's still waiting. I scanned by a Telegram admin and I'm still waiting. I'm up at 5 in the morning and I'm still facing. Ran off on Tom Brady from the New England Patriots. Booked me for a show, I shot up the whole stadium. Ooh, I caught a ham and this nigga is...
I told you, my sister had an alias. So we would get mail for this lady who had the same initials as her, but completely, her name was Penelope. And we were like, who the fuck is Penelope? And it was my sister Paige literally signing up for everything free under the sun, which is, like I said, how I met Kanye and talked to him for an hour.
I used to kind of do something similar, but I was a bad child.
Bad? That's right. Precocious.
This was bad. Like, gay boys and the internet who had freedom and shit to do things when they should not have. Like I used to get mail from men. I had a little sugar daddy. Okay, so
I was like, please.
Story time. Story time. Okay, so when I was before college, I was trying to find men to, engage with and be gay with by the time I moved, because I was a black gay who wasn't around black gays, and I needed to be around black gays when I moved because that's what I wanted, right? So I ended up meeting this guy, and he probably gonna find this and curse me. I'm like, this is what happened to that sissy. He ruined my life. But anywho, basically, this man who was way too old for me, he was 26 to 27, and he would buy me things. I was 17. So he bought me a herringbone necklace from the QVC. And
Not from the QVC. He was on a payment plan.
Yeah. And then he would buy me things. It would be sent to my house. And so my mother would be like, how'd you get this? What are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I told her I bought this and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, okay. You got all these packages. What's happening? I'm like, well, and I was working, so she couldn't do it. And online shopping was new, so it was the novelty of online shopping. She also knew that I used to get a bunch of CDs on. Do you remember half.com? She was the T. She was a subsidiary of. Because I remember that's how I found Coco from SWV's album. I only paid $1 for it. I still have it.
Also used to make me feel. I never was quite comfortable with.
Still not, but I
I don't like their interface.
Yeah.
Oh damn! I think they've been an ad before. Oop.
Probably. Yeah.
Bleep.
But I remember even in college when I got to college, he bought me a computer. And I had never seen him in person until almost a year that I had been living there. And he finally made his way down to come see me. And we were only hanging out for maybe a few minutes. And then he kind of just disappeared. And I got really busy with school. So he would be like, fuck you, you used me and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, I got busy. But also no one told you to buy the stuff for me.
Exactly, on your QVC account. And sir, you bought it all on credit.
And you were entertaining a minor. So,
I think I remember the last round of CDs I got from Columbia House.
Mm-hmm.
I know I got Case's Open Letter from Columbia. That was one of the last CDs I got. 112's Part 3.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever one of the last genuine albums was, I feel like it was an R&B fest happening. But I know Open Letter and Part 3 were two of the very last albums I ever got off of Columbia House.
I think I have some of these. I have some of them in my closet right now. I might show them on a future live. Or the live we did earlier. Yeah.
Oh, I have to pull stuff out.
Yeah. But yeah, that's crazy. But anywho, you know what? We've been on long enough.
Wait, no. I needed to talk to you about this.
Okay.
I waited until we recorded to talk to you about this.
Okay.
Did you know that your boy, Frasier Crane, is a Trump supporter? I'm sorry. And it's not funny for anybody to be so. But I was genuinely, like, you don't know, but like every once in a while, your panties would, like, your coochie will grab your panties in a weird way that pinches it.
Oh, it happens
You know what
to
I'm
men
saying?
too. Yeah, it gets, but the balls that it get. Yeah.
It's kind of like what I felt emotionally when I was like, not the executive producer of Girlfriends. Not Dr. Frasier Crane.
Yeah. But Kelsey Grammer has always been a Republican. So
Oh, word? I
Yeah,
didn't know
he's
that.
always been a Republican. I am surprised by his support of Trump because Kelsey Grammer has also been shown support for like LGBTQ people and like other like
fascination.
social issues he's rather liberal on.
Interesting.
But also Kelsey Grammer is, not to say to cape for him, but he's had an odd life, and I'm not surprised that why he would side with that. Like he witnessed his sister's murder. Also, a white man that grows up on the island of St. Thomas is also something odd to me.
That's where he grew up?
Uh-huh.
Oh, he's deep colonizer blood.
Yeah.
His mason jar head.
Yeah. And like, in somebody who has battled like decades of substance use and stuff, like I can't.
Word?
Oh yeah, Kelsey Grammer is a piece
there
of
a
work.
No, I can't watch
he
that
also has
documentary
like.
now.
I'll never forget. His ex-wife Camille was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She was a cast member, and the very first season, Kelsey was on the show. He was a cast member, and then they got divorced. And then a few seasons later, Camille ended up coming back on the show. She was like, "I used to love being married to Kelsey because every time he cheat, I get a brand new car." She was like, "I got a lot of cars."
My name is Camille Grammer. I'm a dancer and I have been my whole life. I used to dance on Club MTV. Dance for me is freedom. It's how I express myself.
Can you imagine that nigga giving you head with that?
With that big ass head?
With that water jug head.
Like that's
it's like getting ran by a goat.
Yeah. Like a centaur.
Yeah, like, my uterus, sir.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's just my forehead.
But yes,
That's why he sounds like that. He grew up on Saint.
Yeah.
I was like, where is he from?
Yeah. He's had a rough life, but also he's white and rich. And like when I watched that Klan rally the other day where
oh God,
they turned my beautiful Madison Square Garden into fucking
the only venue with very decent food options if you're gonna go for a show. Like
they couldn't
but
do
that's
it.
not they had a Nazi rally.
Yeah, Klan rally.
No, but they know what I'm saying. Back in the day. Hold on.
Oh yeah, yes. I am aware of this. They had a Nazi. It was like their boule or their like convention.
1939 Nazi rally at MSG.
Yes. Before, I feel like that was the old MSG. Before it burned down, they rebuilt it and
well, the
stuff.
sound looks like something else is gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, gotta do it again.
I know. I didn't know he was a Trumper, but until recently, and then I was like, well, that explains why your second season of your reboot sucks.
Yeah,
and
it's just a different level. I don't put anything past white people, but it's a different level. It's like another level of shock when it's somebody where you're like, I thought you had like a little bit more sense than this.
Like I can rock with you if you're a Republican, kind of. But I definitely can't get you if you a Trumper. You know what I mean? Because there's a different level of. Because I understand there's a different level of pedagogy in how people interpret different things, and that's why we have the party system that we do. But I also think there's Republican, Democrat, and outlaw.
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to have no backyard outlaw mud show, thing, on my conscience. So like, and what pissed me off, so, the biggest conversation is Puerto Rico, right? And this idea they had the comedian on there, comedian, I use the term loosely. Where
I thought that was the joke.
Right.
I was like, where was the comedian?
Now, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't laugh at the joke. The joke was not funny. What I did find interesting was how active people had to get. Like, we also have this common conversation about like Latinos for Trump. And and it was interesting to see, like, the next day I was reading the New York Times, and you see these videos of how they went to the Bronx and they interviewed a whole bunch of Puerto Ricans, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't know he was racist, blah, blah, blah." I'm like, how did, you know what I mean? Like, it was very difficult. And then I watched the show that I hate the most, The View, today. I could have an hour of why I hate The View. It's the worst show ever.
I won't partake, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
I'd have to write it down why it's the worst show ever. But it's bad. Okay.
From the clips that I've seen over many, many, many years, like, it's not good.
It's not good. It is also, the producers are mainly men, and they pit the women together on purpose, like they did with Elizabeth Hasselbeck and Rosie O'Donnell. And Barbara Walters is an evil white woman who capitalized and made this shit pervasive. Anyway, she is predatory. Yeah, I went on. So I was, because our good sis Shar watches The View. If she ever makes the panel, I'll watch when she gets on. But other
absolutely,
than that,
because
no.
Shar, queen of journalism.
Yeah,
but
so I was watching, and she had posted a clip of Sunny talking about anti-Trump and being offended by the comments, and I was just like, I just want people to just get real with themselves and realize that you're not a part, dog. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I tell you earlier. I walk around Glendale Mall barking at every race saying, "You're not white."
If we could all collectively come together to, and when I say we, I'm not talking about niggas like us who are aware, but if we as a marginalized giant, which at that point, are we marginalized if we are the majority?
No.
Like, we got to come together and be like, white supremacy, colonialism has done a number all over the motherfucking world.
Fucked us with no lube.
With, like that man on DL Chronicles.
I should have never showed
XD.
you that.
No, you knew you shouldn't have showed me that. XD had me watching before. First, we watched Cover. Mind you, if you are looking for more content to watch, you're bored of all your shows, going down to Jade and XD's Patreon, where it gets chaotic.
Yeah.
But XD had me watch Cover some time back. And I learned about, blowing dust out of the eye.
Mm-hmm.
This time he thought it a good idea to come back and watch. Actually, it was one of the agents of motherfucking chaos. Hence your fucking names.
Mm-hmm.
It was one of you all who said, "Show Jade the DL Chronicles this episode." And that was some outlaw mud show shit. And namely because in one particular scene, two of the down low young men were having getting ready to have relations. And this nigga proceeds to bend the other one over, whip it out, and get to work. And I could not fathom any of that happening without a lubricant present.
On the down low, 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 on the down low.
My homegirl Courtney says you have to prep the butt.
That's not like you can't. That's not something that we can just surprise and just do out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You gotta irrigate. You gotta like
meditate.
You have to. You gotta meditate. You've gotta plan whatever meal you're eating ahead of time. This requires meal planning, and then on top of that, post. What's happening in post? I hope you don't have plans in the immediate. Do you have a bidet in the home? I'm sorry. There's so. What type of lubricant are you using? Are you all in an exclusive relationship and it's coconut oil, or you know, get around and you use the Oh man,
it's time to go.
Advocate.
Yes. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. We'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.
Yes,